Rambam Hilchos Tefilin Perek Gimel Aleph. Shmona halachos yesh b'maisei hatefilin kulan halacha l'Moshe miSinai. There are 8 laws in making the tefillin, and they are all halacha from Moshe to Moshe from Sinai. Ulefichach kulan ma'akvos, and therefore they all must be there. V'imshina ba'achas mehen pasal, and if you change one of them, the tefillin are no good. Ve'eluhem sheyihu mirubos, and these are they, that they have to be square. V'chein tfirasem b'ribua, so the sewing of them has to be square. Ve'alachsonan b'ribua, and the diagonals have to be square. Ad sheyihi and arba zavios shavos, to the point where they have 4 equal corners. And that you should have the picture of a shin on the right side and the left side of the head tefillin. And that you should wrap the parshios with something, with a cloth, with a matlis, something. And that you should wrap them with hair, upon this matlis. And afterwards to put them in their houses, the parshios, and that you should sew them with sinew, and that you should make a ma'boris to this tefillin, a certain bridge for the ritzua to go in, hachafoi, that's covered, shetikanis b'ha ritzua, that the ritzua should go in, ad shetei overes v'huleches, so that it should come and go b'soch tover shalah, inside of this place, this ma'barta. V'shiyu haritzuos shchoros, and that the ritzuos should be black. V'shi ha'kesher shelen kesher yidua keturas dalid, and that the knot of the head tefillin should be a well-known knot that is in the shape of a dalid. Okay. The Kesef Mishna, Perek Gimel Aleph, sheyihu merubos, that they should be square. Perek HaKometz, Menachos Limudei. Where does this come from? It comes from Perek HaKometz and Menachos. Perek HaKorei Umed, Megillah Kafdal Amud Beis. Tana, we learned Tefillin merubos, halacha l'Moshe miSinai. That tefillin being square is halacha from Moshe from Sinai. Rav Papa said betofran ube'olachsanan. Rav Papa said in their sewing and also the diagonal. Kolomar, that is to say, shelo yafsidu b'tfirasam esribum. That is to say that the fact that they're square should not be ruined by the fact that you sew them up or make a square with their sewing up either. Not to exclude the fact that they themselves need to be square, but that in addition, the sewing has to be. That when you draw the string of tying them, and in the diagonal, also the square should be exact, orkan keruchvan, their length like their width, in order so that they should have the same diagonal, all the sides. Shamru Chazal call amasa b'ribua. And anytime you have an amma of ribua, amasa v'trei chumshi b'alachsana, you have 1 amma and 2/5 in its diagonal. Or shall rosh v'chulu, and that you should have on the in the skin of the head tefillin. Beperek b'memadlikin Shabbos Kaf Ches Amud Beis. It says this in Gemara Shabbos. Amar Abaya shin shel tefillin halacha l'Moshe miSinai, that the shin on the tefillin is halacha from Moshe from Sinai, Mefarash Rabbeinu, and so that's all it says. So the Rambam explains that you shouldn't be yamin, we shouldn't be small. That is that you have to have a shin on the right side, a shin on the left side. B'shimush rabba tzura the shin the yamina klas reishi, and the shimush rabba says. Alright, so for the Shimush Rabba is from the Geonim, one of the Talmidim of the Geonim. And the great Shimush that he had, he wrote down, so the Shin on the right side should have 3 heads. With the smaller Arbareshi, and the Shin on the left side should have 4 heads. And if you change them, so we don't care. It's okay. It's still kosher. V'shikruch haparshios b'matlis, and that you should wrap the parshios in a matlis. Yerushalmi perekama de Megillah. Where do we learn this from in Gemara? Yerushalmi kosvu arif sof Hilchos Sefer Torah halacha l'Moshe Sinai shetolin b'matlis. That it's a halacha from Mishna Sinai. So we learn this from the Rif, that you wrap it with the matlis. So all the Rif says is tolin b'matlis. What does it mean, tolin b'matlis? The Rambam explains that you wrap it with a matlis. And that you should wrap it, the parsha, with hair. Where do we learn this? Sham Yerushalmi. Also there in Yerushalmi. Bebavli, Perek Shmona Shotzim, Shabbos Tav Kufches, Halachim L'Moshe Sinai, Shatfilin Nechrachos B'Se'ar, V'Nitvaros Begidin. That it says that it's a halacha from Moshe Sinai, that the tefillin are wrapped with hair, and also that they are sewn with sinew. So that's also a source for that halacha. V'she'osin lahem ma'avoras v'chulu, that we make for them a place for the Ritzuah to go in. Ba'kom Mitzrabah Menachos Limudei. We learn this in Hakom Mitzrabah and Menachos. Amar Abaye, Hai Ma'barta de Tefilin halacha l'Moshe Sinai. So Abaye says this Ma'barta of Tefilin has halacha from Moshe Sinai because of Aruch. And the Aruch explains, Perush Ma'barta de Tefilin hu titura. What's the Ma'barta? It's a titura. Gesharim nikraim Ma'barta. So too, bridges are called a Ma'barta, a way to pass over. Nikraim titura, and they're also called titura. So it's another name for it. But tefillin hu makom shemachnisim bo haritzua. And what does this mean? In the tefillin, it's the place where the ritzua goes in v'nikra ma'abarta de tefile, and it's called the bridge of the tefillin. Ad kan l'shono. That's the end of the quote from the Aruch. Because of Arush Zal, and so the Rosh writes, "V'lo boy l'meimar de tarvayu chada milsahi." You shouldn't say that these are one thing, the titura and the ma'abarta. The Habi Gemara Chashivi Kebez, that the Gemara considers them as one. Koloma de Garsina and Hachi. That is, we learn them. We read it like this. Amar Rav Chanan al Amarav. So Rav Chanan al Amarav says this. So this is how the Rosh says to read it. Hai titura de tefili halach l'Moshe Sinai. That this titura of tefillin is halach l'Moshe Sinai. Amar Abaye. Abaye says Hai ma'abarta de tefili. So this ma'abarta of tefillin, v'shin shel tefillin halach l'Moshe Sinai. So it seems that these are two things, the titura and the ma'abarta. So the Abaye is not necessarily being cholek. Rather, he's giving another two details. But since the ma'abarta and the titura are attached to each other, the titura is what sticks out, and the ma'abarta is the part where the ritzua goes through. So it considers them as one thing. And the opinion of the Rambam is they are one, even though the Gemara lists them as two, and the Rosh describes them as two. Kipshat Loshen Bal Ha'aruch. So the Rambam holds like the simple language of the Aruch is that these two are one thing, that it's also called a Titura. V'afal Gab Dikfar Amar Rabbi Chananel the Halach L'Moshe Sinai Hu. Even though Rav Chananel says in the Gemara there in Menachos that clearly a second language or first language that the Titura is Halach L'Moshe Sinai. I did the boy by Lememar the Shin Shel Tefilin no, or the Ma'abarta is Halach L'Moshe Sinai, separate from the Rav Chananel's statement. Since Abai wanted to say that Shin Shel Tefilin is Halach L'Moshe Sinai, Amar Nami Dahai Ma'abarta Halach L'Moshe Sinai. He also said that the Ma'abarta is Halach L'Moshe Sinai. Lomar Ki Hechi Dahahi Ma'abarta Halach L'Moshe Sinai. He said, just like you mentioned the Titura and the Ma'abarta is Halach L'Moshe Sinai, I also want to add the Shin. Meaning he wasn't adding the Ma'abarta, according to the Rambam and the Aruch. He was saying, you just said that the Titura, meaning the Ma'abarta, is Halach L'Moshe Sinai. I'm going to add also the Shin. So that's what Abaya is adding, according to the Rambam and the Aruch. Whereas the Rosh says that these are two separate things. There's two separate statements here. That just like Rav Chananel says that the Ma'abarta is Halach L'Moshe Sinai. Amarav Hachinami Shin Halach L'Moshe Sinai. So to the Shin is Halach L'Moshe Sinai. He L'Moshe Sinai he Vitzrich L'Meimar Hachi, and he needed to say it this way. Abaya needed to say it this way. Delo Tema Rav Chananel v'Abaya Pligi. That you shouldn't say that there's an argument here between Rav Chananel and Abaya. The Rav Chananel Shmiele the Titura Davka Halach L'Moshe Sinai Veloshin. That you might imply that the statement of Rav Chananel is coming to say that the Titura is Halach L'Moshe Sinai and not the Shin. The Abai Shmiele the Shin Davka Halach L'Moshe Sinai, and the Abai's opinion is that the Shin is Halach L'Moshe Sinai. If Rav Chananel would have said, the Titura is Halach L'Moshe Sinai, and then Rav Chananel and then Abai comes and says the Shin is Halach L'Moshe Sinai, you might have thought that there's an argument between them. One says this is the Halach L'Moshe Sinai, and Abai says the other is the Halach L'Moshe Sinai. But because the Abai says, I agree that the Ma'abarta is Halach L'Moshe Sinai, therefore you understand that he's not arguing, he's just adding. Therefore, Habaya repeats and mentions the Ma'abarta, Lomar, excuse me. To say the Lo Palig of the Rav Chananel, that to say that he's not arguing on Rav Chananel. And from the language of the Rambam, it seems that the house and the titura of the skin are one, that he doesn't separate them in the, I guess the titura is the din of the batim. And that's also, so this is a separate inyan. The batim and the titura shel ur echad are made out of one skin. It's known that you have the concept of pshutim yehudarim, different kinds of batim made out of different parts. And here what's mashman the Rambam is that the batim should be together with the titura made out of one piece of leather. And that's also the opinion of the Rosh. The Mashma Kain, Mepirush Rashi, that learns it from Rashi like that. And this is not the custom of what we see in the world. The Fishura Batim Dak. Why is that? Because the skin of the houses for the parshios are thin. I guess in order to make it properly malleable, it's easier to have a thinner leather. And the titura needs to be strong. It's going to be the basis, the foundation of what sits on your head and holds it up. And therefore, it needs to be a stronger leather. And because, what's the reason he gives that it needs to be strong is because the ritzu is there constantly going back and forth. Therefore, you have a leather that you fold in half, and you make in it a square hole, in the top part of the folded over leather. And you put in the thinner leather there. And the bottom fold covers the bottom of the house the house of the tefillin of the klafim. And so you have then automatically a place for the ritzua to go in, made out of a thicker piece of leather. Okay. He doesn't actually say why you need you have a thinner leather for the batim. That's just my assumption. So further, the next statement in the Rambam, the Kesef Mishna explains, is that the ritzuos need to be black. That this is also in Perek HaKomitz over there. Limudei. Amar Rav Yitzchak says, ritzuos shchoros halacha l'Moshe miSinai. That black ritzuos are halacha for Moshe miSinai. Amar beGemara, and the Gemara says, Dahainu mi bechutz. That is to say, on the outside of the ritzuos. Aval mi bifnim, but on the inside, me'eze gevin shir, you can make them whatever color you want. As long as you don't make them red. And that the kesher should be like a dalid. So it says Sham over there in that same Menachos. Rav Yehuda says, the son of Rav Shmuel, Mishmei Rav, in the name of Rav, the kesher shel tefillin halacha l'Moshe miSinai. That the knot of the tefillin is also halacha l'Moshe miSinai. And the Rambam explains that you're making, what kind of knot is this? It's a knot that looks like a dalet. That's the halach l'Moshe miSinai that we're talking about. Okay. Halacha beis in the Rambam. Ketzer osin tefillin shel rosh. How do you make the tefillin shel rosh? Lokhin eitz meruba. You take a square piece of wood, orko kerochvo ukegovo. That's equally length and width and height in all of these measures. Vim hayegovo yoser al rochvo opachs mimenu in bekach klum. However, the height is not. You don't have to be as precise. If its height was more or less than its width, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We only care that the width should be the same as its length. Bechofrin bo shlosha charitzin kidei shiyaselo arba roshim. And we put in it three valleys, make three holes in it. We fold it we fold it over the piece of wood has to have three parts sticking out in order so that it should make 4 houses. Like this, and here's a picture over here. Velokhin or, when we take the leather, and we wet it with water, misimin bo es ha'etz, and we place the wood in it, and you place the leather between each one of these wood that sticks out, these three, between each and one of these parts, and we squish it onto it, and while it's wet. From this side and that side. That's aside from the fact that you place it on the wood, you also squeeze it to make the shape of a shin on the side. On the right side of the one who is wearing it should have a shin of 3 heads. And the shin that has the 4 heads on the left side of the one who's wearing it. Okay. Halacha Beis in the Kesef Mishna. Ketzad osim v'chulu ad makom haratzuos. Let's continue the next halacha, halacha Gimel, because that's where that this Kesef Mishnah goes on. So back in the Rambam, manichin sa'or al halacha Gimel, and manichin sa'or al ha'etz, and you place the leather upon the wood until it dries, and then you take the leather from on this imum of eitz, this wooden block that shapes it. So you find then, when you take it off, that you have a leather that has 4 empty houses. We place one of the parshas in each one of these houses. We fold over some of the leather from below, like we talked about in the Ma'abarta. That the Kesef Mishnah is mashma that it's from one leather, according to the Rambam. And we sew it on its 4 corners. And we leave in the skin from below a place. You shouldn't squish it to such a degree that there's no room. Rather, on the side, or I guess on the side of the house, you leave a place. You don't make it just perfect square, but you leave some on the side also. On the bottom of the leather, makom shidikani sporer, a place where the ritzua can go in. Kamo tover, like a tover, and that's called the maboris. And like we said, the Rambam and the Aruch hold that this is the Titura and the Maboros are one thing, whereas the Rosh holds these are 2 things, based on the statement of Hananel and Abaya, there in Menachos Daf Limudei. Further, halacha daled. V'ketzad osin tefillin shel yad. And how do you make the hand tefillin? Lokchin eitz meruba. You take a square piece of wood, orako kerochvo, its length like its width, v'yihi govho ke'etzba o yaser, and its height should be like a finger or more. Yaser is a me'at, a little bit, or pachos me'at, or a little bit less than an etzba of measure. Mechaven also be'or ratuv, and we cover it with a wet leather. Umanichin esaor al ha'imum. We leave this skin upon this piece of wood ad yavesh, until it dries. V'cholitz esaor, and we take off the skin. Umaniach es arba haparshios b'mokum ha'etz. We place the 4 parshios of the hand tefillin in this one place where the wood was. And again, you fold over some of the skin below, v'tofrum arba pinosav, and sew it in its 4 corners. Manichin min ha'or tover makom aratzuos, and you again leave from the skin a place for the rituos to go in for the hand tefillin. Okay. Back in the Kesef Mishna, halacha beis kitzer ozen v'chulu ad makom rituos. All of that we just read. Pashidhu, this is simple, meaning that it's not, the way he describes how to make it is not, there's no makor in the Gemara, but this is just simply how it makes sense how you would make it. Biktsasu b'shimush rabba, and some of this description is in shimush rabba. Perish milas tover, so, and he uses the word tover. He says, he says, Shitikanis bar ritzuakum tover. And the same thing by the hand tefillin, he says, Manichim min ha'or tover. So what's this word tover? So the Aruch says, Shetoveres heim lulos. That toveres, these are islets. Como bais knisas ha'mayin hemyan she'osim lemichnasayim. Beis knisas hemyan, which is, I guess, the place where you would place the belt. They're like belt, the round attachments on your pants where you slip the belt through. That's a lula. Those are lulos you make for your pants.